Hello, welcome back. We are picking back up with PocketHex. So last time we made it to a mushroom city. We made it to point 4 over here, and we were witness to an execution as we got to the sort of gates of the city, the entrance of the city, and we determined that we would spend, perhaps a day or two in this city, searching for sort of clues, sort of searching for what to do next, right? Our mage, Manifestor Xenor, has entered the dream realm, and he is currently searching for hints as to the location of the magical MacGuffin that he is looking for. As I kind of mentioned last time, I don't have a plan for what our character is looking for. I thought what I would do is, as we get to notable locations, we will make a D6 roll, and we'll see if it gets a 6, and if it does, then that's going to somehow impact our quest, right? So we're going to take the location and something about what we've just done and kind of tie that into what he's looking for, right? So as it's been a bit, just to remind you, the things that he's looking for is he is looking for either a real world location of the item that he's searching for, or he is looking for, something that will direct him to that, right? The name of the last person that held it, some sort of understanding of the type of magic that it uses in case it is, completely lost, so that he can, remake this effect of whatever it is he's searching for. With all that out of the way, we're going to kind of jump right into it. We had been at the keyed location of... I believe this is a keyed location, isn't it? No, it's not. Sorry. This was just a city that we rolled up. And it is a 57 population mushroom people. They're simple farmers. And they use Cyclopsamid products, which is here. The execution was due to one of the fungoid people stealing from the Cyclopses and possibly damaging their trade relationship. So I think we're going to enter the city and we're going to, spend the better part of a day just kind of wandering aimlessly, right? These realms, these sort of dream realms, when our character comes to them, he kind of just goes as he feels, right? Like if there's a pull to a location, he'll stay there, and if not, then he'll leave, right? And he'll go find something else. So we are going to mechanically represent that as rolling the d6 to see if there's anything important in this location that we might be able to figure out. And if there is, then we'll, reference either some more of the rules in PocketHex, or we will, reach out to something like Starforge or something for some Oracle help. So let's take a look and see if we roll a 6, we are going to have something in this location. And that's a 4. Okay, so we are going to spend, a bit of time, and we're going to get a sense of the way that this world works, in that, there are sentient creatures, and they do have points that they trade between, and so forth. And I think what we're going to walk away from this with is a sense that maybe what we should do is we should come down and we should check the Cyclopsamid area and see if perhaps something in that location is relevant to our quest. So Manifestor Xenor spends the better part of his day, just conversing with locals, getting some understanding, and everything that they, not everything that they talk about, but like over and over again, there's this repeating theme of the Cyclops people, right? Whether it's in the Cyclopsamid products that they use and people talking about them, or people referencing what happened in this area. And so he kind of gets some directions and he decides, okay, well, that's clearly, a point that we can go look at. And we're going to go ahead there. So it doesn't really matter which of these two hexes we go into. I've lost my green pen. Okay, well, we'll just mark 5 here. We'll say we step into this hex. And so we've done 5 days. As I had said the first time, when we get to 48 days, we're out. No matter what, if we have not finished our quest, then this dream quest is a failure, and Xenor's going to have to find some different way to find his random item. So, yeah, I mean, that's all, I think, pretty straightforward. So we spend the night on the plains. Let's see if there's anything that we want to look at. So one of the procedures that this has is a luck check with a possible foible. And so what we could do is we could roll on the luck table and see what happens. We can see if maybe we get some sort of lucky break, right? So I think luck is at the very, very back here, right? And it is a 1d20. Foibles are a 1d10. Okay, so how do we get a foible? Sorry, 1 second as I just look at this. Luck is enough to turn the tides one way or another. Is not enough to turn the tides one way or another, but it is enough to spark new thoughts and directions in your adventure. Okay, it doesn't really mention how a foible might come up as I quickly look at it. There might be other things that that dictate that. So that's okay. We're not going to worry about that too much. I'm going to grab a d20 and let's see if we get anything useful as a luck roll. 16. So perilous. Ooh. Okay. Perilous. Let's roll on the foibles as well then. If it's perilous here, so something about this grassland area is perilous. Maybe it's as we go to camp for the night, right? Maybe we hear some sort of wildlife, and as maybe we've just gone to sleep. It's been like a couple of hours, and we hear some wildlife in the near distance, right? Like not very far away at all. And it wakes us up because these are real dangers that could take us prematurely out of this dream realm, and we don't really want that. So what we will do is we will... Luck is perilous. Yeah, I think what we're going to do is we are just going to kind of hunker down in our little camp and see. what kind of wildlife we get. So I see that I am going to need a D10 for sure. 1 second, does I grab that? There we go. So we'll roll a D10 and see what kind of wildlife is, out there making noise. So 10, a tumbleweed beetle. Okay, so I'm going to guess that those are, let's take that relatively literally, right? Let's say that these are a type of beetle that is, very much looks kind of like a tumbleweed, right? So like it's got this carapace that is largely hollow and looks to be like kind of made of twigs and stuff like that, and it is a sort of ambush insect, I guess. Large enough to be a concern, but not necessarily a direct threat, right? So let's say like the size of a poodle or something, right? And they are traveling in a pack and kind of chittering and making their little insectoid noises, and that is what Xenor hears, and it wakes him up after just a few hours of sleep. And when he goes to investigate, like when he gets out and peeks out of his sort of makeshift tent, I think he's going to see just like a field of these little things. Like it is a large number of them, and so he's gonna have to try and like hunker down and see if he can avoid becoming interesting to them, right? Like if his luck holds enough that that it just remains a little perilous but not actively dangerous. So let's, I think in here there's an oracle, a D20 oracle, and let's roll on that and just see if he can manage to not draw their attention. So that's a no, but. So no, but that immediately tells me that they maybe are drawn to something that he is doing or has done, right? Maybe they're interested in the campfire or something. And so they are, in the span of 10 minutes or so, he realizes that like these things are actively coming towards the campsite. And he does have enough time to kind of like get up and go. But in doing so, I think he loses something, right? So I think as he's gearing up, or like as he's abandoning the campsite, I think that he is going to have to leave behind his tent and those kind of goods. And so what we will do is let's take a look here at our character sheet. So we had rolled that we have 62 magic marbles. We had used one. We had 52 playing cards. We had used one. So I'm going to say that mechanically, since this doesn't have like a supply stat or anything like that, what we're going to do is it's going to cost us in some of our magic marbles, I think, that maybe just kind of spill out, and because it wasn't an active use of them, they don't like explode with magic or anything like that, but they are lost. So I'm going to take that 1 and just change it to a 10. Let's say that we've used 10 of these 62 marbles, so we've got 52 left. And we'll see where we go from there. But with him being up and kind of driven out of camp, I think he's going to make an early start headed towards Cyclops, right? And so we're going to say that that's the 6th day. And we're going to take a look at our keyed location. And that is location number 3. So, Cyclopsamid, a multi-story Cyclopsamid. Inside is a megalopolis of silent Cyclopses. They are at work producing the big bile gemstones that the slime angles produce. If you have any, give them to the workers and they'll process them for you. And then it gives us the processing process, I guess. But otherwise, that's just kind of it. So we've got a bunch of Cyclopses in this, I guess, gigantic statue of a Cyclops. And let's do a d6 roll to see if anything about our quest is here. So, oh yes, and it is. Okay, that's interesting. So, we roll into town, into this city, as it were, and it's maybe dawn is just kind of breaking, and it's very early, but work I'm gonna say kind of continues throughout the night here. It's a 24-hour community where some people sleep in the day and some people don't, and so there are people to kind of greet him. They're like a bunch of silent monks, though, right? Where they're more than welcome to, or more than happy to welcome you in, right? But a lot of the communication is done through sort of rudimentary hand signals and gestures and sort of gleaning intent from that kind of interaction of them kind of like leading you in gestures and stuff that are common. And there are Cyclopses that are selling these big bile gemstones, and there are some that are working with slime, whether it is or with these like slime covered uncut, I guess, bile stones. And there's carts coming to and fro and coming in and out, and most of this it's like a predominantly a factory, and secondarily is a residential city area. And so I think what we're going to do now is we're going to see if so we know that this is somehow related to our quest, and so let's give ourselves a little bit of extra guidance, right? And we'll roll a d6 to see if what we're finding here is a clue to the actual location, a clue to a name of somebody who has held this item, or if it's a clue to the way that it works, right? So 1 to 2 will be location, 3 and 4 will be name, and 5 and 6 will be understanding the magic itself, the mechanics of it. Actual location. Okay, all right. So I think that Manifestor Xenor is going to, kind of be heading through the sort of factory or residential kind of combination area, and as he's doing so, he's going to kind of get this sense in the back of his mind that like this is noteworthy, right? Like that this this setup by itself, like everything is pertaining to his quest, right? And it's just something that he's kind of picked up as the manifester of the Wandering Slumber. So like he kind of knows when a dream reality is trying to guide him somewhere. And in this case, the sense that he is getting is in fact that it is that the item that he is looking for is currently held in a place that is inhabited by Cyclopses or was inhabited by Cyclopses, right? So some sort of Cyclops community, whether that's a ruin or a living community, is kind of to be seen. But back in his prime world, what he's going to be looking for is a community of Cyclopses. And now those are fairly rare, right? These guys in the real world, in the mundane world, are traditionally very, very singular, right? They don't gather in communities. They have a sort of tight knit family dynamic, right? Where one family will have sort of one space, but they don't gather in a greater community. So that is a big step towards what he's looking for, and so we'll jot that down. That we have found. So the first part is that it is in a Cyclops community, right? So that is good. Okay, so that is one part of the puzzle. Now, technically, the way that I kind of chose how this would work, having this one piece of information, the quest, no matter what, even if we get kicked out after 48 days, right? No matter what, it is a success. This is enough that when he leaves the dream world, I think he's got at least a big enough point in the direction that he can probably find what he's looking for. That said, more is always better. So if he can find out some additional information, like whether or not this is a living community or if he's supposed to be delving into ruins, that would be very helpful. If he can find some a name that is tied to this and some understanding of what it is he's actually looking for, that's even better. So I think he's going to continue. We're not going to drop out of the PocketHex quest just yet. I think he's going to continue. Most of his day here is spent with the Cyclopses, and he kind of gets an idea that the slime angles are an important resource for these people. And I think that his quest might be going forward to head down to them, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I don't know if I want to have him head straight down to that or if I want him to kind of just wander. So I think he's going to ask some of the locals if he can maybe get an idea of some landmarks, right? And so that is going to give him not many hexes, right? I'm going to say like kind of these hexes around, right? So like kind of 2 hexes out from the Cyclopsimid is kind of the range that they're willing to show him. And so the 2 features kind of pop out to him is that there's hills where there's the rest of this is plain. So there's some form of hills kind of in the middle of nowhere. And on the map, I feel like there's maybe some indicator that further off the map in this kind of area down is something that should be avoided, right? And so he's going to kind of look between these two areas, and I think what he's going to do is he's going to come for the dangerous one. Despite the fact that we don't want to get, prematurely kicked out, I feel like that is the more interesting thing for him to look at right now. So we're going to, kind of say goodbye to our Cyclops friends, and maybe we will is there anything that we can leave them? Not really. Like, we don't have much for inventory. So we have been using the playing cards as sort of like an accessory to the magic. But I can't think of off the top of my head something that we could like give them that would be useful for them. So I think we're just gonna, keep exactly what we have, and we are going to step into this hex here, and start heading down. So I'm going to say that we probably spent the night. Each hex is a day, right? Is a full day, right? So we spent the night with the Cyclopses. We come down and we step into this next bit of wilderness, and let's see if there's anything there. Now, I've kind of mentioned before, the generators for the areas here kind of only touch on the graveyards and the hills, and the cities, right? The little towns and stuff, and then wildlife, right? So there's not in these blank hexes, there's kind of nothing, which isn't actually that big of a problem, because I think what I'm going to do is I got something new the other day. These are some outdoor encounter cards, and they're pretty nifty. They have just outdoor encounters, right? So there's all kinds of random things that could happen. It could be NPCs, could be, spots. So I was thinking, we'll give this little deck a shuffle, and we will flip a card, and we will see what is in this hex, and see if there's anything in there that might be interesting to our quest or to our character, right? So that's not a good shuffle, but it's a shuffle. I haven't actually looked through this deck, so I have no idea what this could be. So we're just going to flip this over and see. Into the Earth. The ruined station near the road was once a checkpoint for travelers, a place where they could leave notes for others, read any note that other travelers may have left behind, and use as a safe place to rest. Now it is destroyed. Exploring the ruins of the station, you soon discover that this particular checkpoint has a secret. You find stone stairs leading down to the unknown. A dungeon was hidden here long ago. Dare you explore it? Oh, that's interesting. So I'm going to say we're gonna kind of combine these two hexes here, where perhaps we veered a little bit east, and we're kind of on this border, and this, which is actually mountains on this hex, is kind of the ruined outpost and the entrance to our cavern or dungeon. Now, do we want to take the bait? Do we want to adventure in a dungeon? In this PocketHex exploration. It is something that has come up that is interesting. I do like it. So, you know what? Perhaps we will. Perhaps we will dare to explore it. Now that's going to require that I make or find, or download a map. I like drawing my own maps. So what I might do here is I might actually end the episode a little bit early. This is about the 30-minute mark, so it's not a terribly short episode. But I think we'll end early, and then next session, we will pop into a bit of a dungeon crawl, and we'll see if we can maybe add some items to our inventory. We'll see if we can do something that that leads us further into our quest, and we'll try and survive it. I think we'll do a small dungeon. I don't think it'll be large. But that might be fun. So that's, I think, exactly what we're going to do. So next time we will be taking a dive into the earth, and we will see what happens for Manifestor Xenor, because he is a curious sort. And when something like this pops up, you know there's no way he's going to say no, right? It's just too good of an opportunity. So until next time, friends, as always, happy gaming.